Hey, welcome back. I decided I would change the format of these videos a bit so that I can reduce the amount of editing that I have to do because it's really hampering my ability to actually get these out. I really can't stand video editing, it's not fun. And if I'm not doing a voiceover, I'm just talking while I do something, it's a lot better, hopefully. That's the goal. I have run into another problem, though, which is that I really dislike recording myself talking while other people are present. And that means instead of me just doing the art whenever I want and then recording myself when no one's around, I find myself waiting to do art until no one's around, which means I'm getting less done. So I'll have to think on it a little more. Anywho, another thing that kind of got in the way of me pumping out that last video was I was treating these videos wrong, where these are supposed to just be, my hobby. Whatever it is I'm working on at the moment. Doesn't matter what. It's just whatever I'm working on. And I keep getting into my head and treating this more like a platform to advertise all my original creations, which, it's a good way to, it's a way for me to at least spread the word a little, but it's not the purpose of this channel, And so I was kind of getting into my head and being like, no, whatever it is I'm going to be working on for the next video has to be related to Slaughter Ex Machina, and it can't be anything else, and which means I'm working on stuff that I don't necessarily really want to work on at the time, and it hampers my ability to get anything done in a reasonable time. And I would like to reduce how often I'm doing that. And as of recording this, it is not New Year's, but I suppose I will make some New Year's resolutions with y'all because I'm here. Anywho, New Year's resolutions. I think my first resolution will be that by the end of 2026, I want to have sold at least one miniature kit, or just miniature period. Whether that be digital or physical, doesn't matter. I think the goal is to sell one of these traditionally sculpted minis and one of my digital ones. That's the goal. The digital one, I am somewhat confident that I can complete. It was my goal last year, and I didn't. But it's my goal this year, and I'm better at it than I was before. And the next goal is I gotta make more than 13 of these logs over the course of next year. So that gives me wiggle room to take I should do more than that. Maybe. Okay, future me interjecting here. What did I say? 13? That's weak sauce. I can do better than that. These videos are not very difficult to make, and they don't take a lot of time. I can do better. My goal for 2026 is to do 24 of these videos, at least. Another goal for this year, this one should be very achievable, is just to stick with this orc boss that I'm making, this orc leader, long enough to make it into a complete kit that I can mold and then cast in resin. I got a bunch of that new stuff, as mentioned in my last video. Then I think we got 2 more. The next one is that I gotta have Slaughter Ex Machina in a completed state. Or not completed, but in a state that's like releasable, you know? Gonna be in a semi-finished state, I suppose. Something, yeah, I just need to have it released, you know? Because right now it's just a messy document in my computer. And I would like it to be more than that. That's my goal. As well as by this time next year, I want to have completed a model kit for that game. So it can be just one single model, or it can be an entire like kit to make a squad of dudes, but I want that game to be real. I don't want it to just be a half-finished idea in my head. Don't want it to be a half-finished document in my computer. I want it to be ready and real for other people to see. And yeah, that's all for my resolutions. I have gotten a new job, which is nice. Pays better than anything I've had before. I'm working quite a lot, more than I have before. Maybe doing 12-hour shifts, 36 to 48 hours a week. So a little overtime, which, you know, is nice, 1.5 times pay. But that does mean I have a lot less time for this. But strangely enough, what I've found is that when I have less time, like, let's say I've got 3 hours in my day to get some art done because I gotta go to work. I find that I am just as productive in those 3 hours as I am with the whole day, like 18 hours to myself to get it done. Part of it is that I guess when you've got all the time in the world, none of that time matters. So if I lose an hour to scrolling on my phone or whatever, it's no big deal. I've got all the time in the world. There's no rush. I can just start on it in a few hours. It's no big deal. And if that few hours extends a little longer, you know, I'm not going to get anything done today. That's okay. It's no big deal. I've got all the time in the world. I can just do it tomorrow. And nothing gets done. It takes me weeks or months to do something that should only take me a few days. And I think I've been living my life with that mindset. And I want to change that. Because, yeah, when you've got all the time in the world, none of that time matters. And then, all of a sudden, you know, like, a year passes and it feels like a few months because you didn't really do anything that year. You didn't do much. There's not much worth remembering. Not much done. And that stinks. So, working on changing that attitude. But yeah, I've been doing pretty good in terms of doing things, I suppose. What else did I have to say? Yeah. Because I don't know. This is still related to that subject, but when I find I struggle a lot with, I believe the term is, what is it? Executive dysfunction. So, basically, if there's something that I have to do, or something that I want to do, even if I'm like genuinely excited to do it, I struggle really, really, really hard to get started, to execute that task. I spend, I'll sit around for hours and hours just like, begging myself to get up and do it, and I just never do. And, I've got a job, and now all of a sudden I don't have a few hours to muster my brain into working condition. And that rush, I suppose, that scarcity of time makes it so I have to try a lot harder to make sure that every hour matters. And it's been going decently well. We'll have to see how that holds up. I guess the last things I have to say for today's episode are, I guess, I've been spending my whole life saying, someday I'm gonna be this, someday I'm gonna be that. One of these days I'm gonna be this sort of artistic thing. I'm gonna write graphic novels. I'm gonna program video games. I'm gonna do all this stuff. And then the problem is that I spend all this time saying someday, one of these days, in the future, and I never actually do anything about it. And I've been chasing artistic pursuits my entire life, and I have nothing to show for it. I mean, I do have a little bit of something to show for it now. I've been making an effort to change it. I've been all aspirations and no action. And, I'm making steps. I've started making a change, I have my social media accounts that I never post on. I never post updates on, which is kind of what this is for, because social media accounts aren't very interactive unless you've got a fan base, and I ain't got that. So I always feel like I have to have something finished and polished in order to post something. Otherwise, it just kind of feels like a waste of time. And with this, that doesn't have to be the case. With this, I can talk. I can do something and not worry so much, I suppose. But yeah, I'm sick of saying someday. And so today I'm doing something. I suppose that's all I had planned out for writing this one. Anything else? Not really. Just trying to change things, trying to be better and do more, do something. I set my goal to sell minis, sell at least a mini last year around this time. And I didn't do that. I did make some, but I didn't make very many. And so, I think it's time for that to change. You guys have a good night, or good day. Thanks for watching. Ta-ta.